fabulous little budding bakers. Today, because today I think it's Thursday. Is it Thursday? I'm not sure is it Thursday. I'm beginning to lose my marbles. Although, if truth be told, I've lost my marbles a long time ago. Today we are doing marble cake. Considering I lost my marbles, we need to do some marble cake. So, we are starting with my beautiful Kenwood. Because this machine is just going to get me through the day. Bake, 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 bake. Today, we are starting with a very easy recipe. 2, 2, 2, 4. Potato 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 4. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 4. 200 grams of butter, 200 grams of caster sugar, 200 grams of self-raising flour, 4 eggs. Now, I'm also adding a teaspoon of vanilla extract. I'm also adding 3 tablespoons of buttermilk and cocoa, but just to the cocoa mix, not to my vanilla. So, in goes our butter, followed by our sugar. Down it goes. I'll bring this in a little bit so you can see the beauty that beholds my gorgeous Kenwood. Look at that beauty in action. So I'll turn it up a little. So all I have, very important, room temp butter. Do not have cold butter. This needs to be really soft. Now as that's going, wow, this is the crazy bit. I am now adding my flour, not my eggs. You say what? Don't add your eggs, add your flour. The reason you're going to add your flour is I'm going to prevent this mix from curdling. And I got this tip from the cake boss himself. Well, not actually from himself, from his book. So, not the recipe is true and tested, a fado old recipe. But the technique I picked up from Cake Boss. And I have never had my batter curdle. Don't mess with your containers, musical instruments, they are not. Kenwood is the machine for me. Now, as you can see, it's a bit like a cookie dough. In go the eggs, one at a time. Plop. And in goes another one. So I'm waiting for the egg mix to nearly mix completely itself before I add another egg. Almost as if you were making mayonnaise. And in goes another egg. And these again are all room temp. Speed it up for the last egg. And it goes. Now I'm going to turn it down. And I'm going to scrape down this deliciousness. That is my gorgeous sponge. And when this is done, the flavors will be amazing. So turn on my mixer again. Give it another mix. And there's my vanilla. In goes my vanilla extract. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Yeah, we're done. Kaboom! That's it. That's all she wrote. Butter, sugar, flour. And this is where you can have a fight in your house. Who's going to lick the spoon? Preferably when the mixer isn't running. Two to go. All done. So we have got our mixer. Again, Mr. Kenwood, lovely doing business with you. Absolute pleasure. He's a great socializer actually because he loves to mix. So putting away my Kenwood, I have got 2 bowls. Move my Kenwood over here. Now a bit of a juggling. So I've got my batter mix and I have got my cocoa and my buttermilk. And in goes the buttermilk. You do not need to have buttermilk. I like buttermilk because it does make a difference, I think, to the sponge. And again, all I'm doing is I'm mixing the cocoa and the buttermilk to a paste. So there you go, it's nice wet. If you add cocoa to your Victoria sponge, without changing the flour ratio, you will end up with a very dry Victoria sponge. Whereas when you introduce a paste, when the cocoa powder itself is quite wet and sticky, it blends beautifully with the Victoria sponge and you do not end up with a dry cake. So we have a lovely chocolate mix, okay? So next thing, we weigh up. Now, because I've done this so many times before, I'm going by eye. So if you want to mix it up and split it between the two bowls, it's roughly about 400 grams of each batter. So I'm just giving it one last stir, stir, stir. And in goes about 400 grams per batter, per bowl of batter. This is a great mix to do if you were doing it for gluten-free. You just use the gluten-free flour because the wetter the batter, the better. Try saying that after a couple of gins. In it goes. Again, as I said, all I'm doing is splitting between the two bowls. This is not a complicated recipe. All you need is patience, which we have lots of. Time, we have lots of. So we have ready to go. Boom, boom, boom. Now, two bowls. One we're going to set aside. The next one, we are adding all the chocolate. Chocolate. I wouldn't recommend licking this bowl because this is pure cocoa. And give it a stir. So all I'm doing is I'm mixing the chocolate. And this was such a fabulous recipe back in the 70s. So I'm told. I wouldn't know anything about the 70s. I'm too young. This is an absolute beautiful recipe because it has that lovely hint of vanilla, but it has that lovely sweetness of the cocoa. So here we have our tin lined. And this is where the fun begins because it doesn't make any difference where you put your batter. So I'll put a spoonful at the bottom and then I'll put a spoonful at the top. Then I'm going to go crazy and put a spoon at the bottom on top of the Madeira, followed by a dollop of your Madeira on top. And you keep going until you decide what pattern you'd like, so that when the sponge comes out of the oven, you have this cool, crazy looking cake. And if you've got 2 kids, 4 kids, 12 kids, you can decide who's putting in the vanilla batter, who's putting in the chocolate batter. Now, I tend to put it into a piping bag, but that's because I go, oh, posh and fancy schmancy. You do not need to put it into a piping bag. As you can see, you can just put it in spoon by spoon by spoon until you have got most of the mix all gone. And again, we're down to the last hurdle. So in again goes our chocolate. This goes into a preheated oven for 40-45 minutes. It could even go for 50 minutes. It really depends on your oven. And if at any stage you feel that you're not too sure if your oven is coming up to 10, the best thing to get is an actual oven thermometer. And you'll be surprised at your temperature reading of your oven once you get a proper reading. Now, have to leave a bit to lick the bowl because the batter is delicious, okay? So that's going to sort of clean by itself by my beautiful children. Anything that I have dolloped along the side, I'm just going to get rid, because what I do not want is it burning in the oven. And there you have it. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, except it's a chocolate, vanilla, batter, marble cake. Go marbles and make a marble cake. We'll see you tomorrow at 10. Bye.